Hi everyone, it is Sunday and this is not going to be one of my normal videos. I'm a little bit hesitant on doing this because I've gotten a private message from somebody a couple weeks back that was really ruthless and basically said, it's kind of interesting how you know so many people that have just passed away. I think you're enjoying it or something. Anyways, I'm just going to turn on this camera and just talk, so you never know what's going to come out of my mouth. About 2 weeks ago, I received a message from one of my subscribers saying goodbye, and it was a very short message, and I took it as he was closing his account. And so I immediately responded back, and I said, please don't close your account, and I told him how much he was going to be loved and missed, and how much I really enjoy seeing him smile and everything. There was a lot more to it, but that was my small version of it. Never responded. I sent him a couple more messages. He never responded. And then earlier this week, I got a message, and all it said was, goodbye, keep smiling. And that was it. So I immediately sent him a message, and it said his account was closed. So I went on his other account, and it said his account was closed. And I was just shocked. I was just like, why did he close his account? I didn't know about anything going on personally. We never really got into that. Then earlier this week, I was watching Old Salty 65, and he did a video about MrMarchant71 passing away. And MrMarchant, Sean, took his life, committed suicide, and I was gobstruck. I was speechless at that point, and I didn't know exactly what to think, because then I went back to his messages, and I reread them, and I reread them, and I reread them, and I still didn't see suicide in these messages. So this morning I saw Pete, who's the fat Aussie bastard. I saw his video about getting a grip on suicide. Now, I know where Pete was coming from, because he stated he did not understand suicide. And so basically he was like, get a grip. Then I saw Dave's, which I figured Dave would do a video response on this one. And he was furious. They've talked, they worked it out, but he was still angry about Pete's, get a grip comment. And I read some of the comments on that, on both videos, and yeah, people are pissed of the get a grip comment. So this is basically my version of what I know about depression. Sadness and depression, I think, are two different things. Sadness is I got an F on my grade, or I scratched my car, or anything like that. It's an emotion that is not very long. Does that make sense? If it's not very long emotion, as in it doesn't last for months and years and decades. It's basically, this is what happened, I got upset. It's like happiness. You don't stay happy for 2 weeks solid. You got to have some anger in there, and it's emotion. Depression is totally different to me. As I was explained, it's like you're standing in a very deep pool with no shallow end and no ladder to get out. And you're trying to reach for everything, and you can't get out. And the water starts coming in, and the first thing you know of when you see this cup floating by is you grab the cup and you start drinking the water, because that's what mentally it comes to you and goes, okay, I gotta fix the situation. And once it gets to your calves, that water turns into mud, and it gets thicker and thicker and thicker, to the point that you can't even move your feet. The mud is still rolling in, and you're looking around, and there's no way out. What do? You start moving that mud away. It gets to your hips and then up to your shoulders. So now your arms are basically stuck to your side. You're trapped. You can't do anything. Then eventually it gets up to your chin and over your head. And that's what it is. The difference is that a lot of people said that, oh, I've been there. I've thought about suicide. You've been there in that muddy pool, and maybe the mud's been there, or maybe the mud's gotten there. But for the people that have committed suicide, the mud is right there. You can't see through the mud. You can't do anything. You can't move. And people call it selfish that people commit suicide. No, it's not selfish. Not in any way, shape, or form. It's not even a cowardly act. Because if you're in a pool of mud and you can't move, how is that possibly selfish or cowardly? Going, do I give up? Do I give up trying to squirm out of this? At what point do you fight to the point of being exhausted? Do you just keep on going? That's how it is. There's so many people that I've talked about or talked to, and they've said, yeah, I was on the side of a cliff looking down, wondering how I can do this. And they start thinking, oh, well, then my parents will have to pay for emergency responses and it's going to cost them money. So that's the only reason why I didn't do it. Now I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about that's what they say. Then I've talked to other people saying, yeah, I've been there. And I've thought about, you know, my kids or my wife or my brothers. One of my friends called his brother, didn't even know about it. And his brother was the one that saved him. But calling that brother or thinking about who's going to get your house or thinking about how your family's going to be or your life insurance. That's the ladder that's still there. Once that ladder gets removed, you can't get out. And it doesn't matter what you do or what you say, you can't move. So if you can't move, you can't fight for your life. And if you can't fight for your life, it's not cowardly to work and to go to exhaustion to give up. Because you've done everything you possibly can. I have even heard it's a long-term solution for a short-term issue. No, it's not. You're in a pool of mud and you fought your ass off to try to get out of this pool. And that ladder is gone and there's no shallow end and you're in the very middle in mud that is so thick that you can't even move. You work to exhaustion and at one point you just go, done. I can't go. Is it selfish to give up when you've busted your ass for so long? No, it's not selfish, nor is it cowardly. It's you can't take it anymore. My friend has been to the point so depressed that she said that from the second she woke up to the second she went to bed, she thought about suicide. She thought about going around every corner when she was driving her car. If her hand slipped and she went off the road, would her car roll? She was actually thinking, my car might get damaged, and what if I don't die? Then I won't have a car. That means that ladder was still there. Then it was, well, I'll just drift in front of another car. Well, then I would kill that other person, as she said it. If she thought that way, then the ladder is still there. Then she said, well, you know what? I'm I'll just walk out in front of a diesel. There's no way I would live through that. And then she read an article where a guy lived about getting hit by a train going at high speed. And she was like, I don't want to be paraplegic. I just want to take my life. That's not cowardly. That's the mud right there that you can't see anymore. But the difference is if you start thinking about what is going to happen after you commit suicide, then that ladder is still there. I remember she telling me that she was up in the canyons on a cliff, and the only thing that was underneath her feet was 75 to 100 feet of air. It was a solid drop. And she was thinking how she could take her car around the bends coming down the mountains at such a speed where it looked like it was an accident. And the only thing that talked her out of it was insurance. That's the only thing. So to me, that insurance was her ladder. Because she has basically built up her life for health insurance and car insurance and life insurance and house insurance, and if she took her life insurance wouldn't cover it. Her family would not be covered with life insurance. They wouldn't get anything. So when you get to that point, or even when you're sad, you definitely need to go get counseling. And when you get to that point of being depressed and you can feel it, or if somebody else says, hey, you've been really far gone lately, don't argue with them. Just precautionary. It's like your sore throat. You get an itch. You think, I should go to the doctor and I might need antibiotics. It's the same thing. Somebody tells you have an itch in your throat, or maybe you're not all the way there, go get it checked out. You never know what they're going to say. Now, when my mom passed away, it was the day after my mom passed away. We just barely buried her. And I don't know how my doctor found out about her passing away. He didn't know her from Adam. But he says, how you doing? And I says, I can't stop crying. We buried my mom and everything. And I just remember his first reaction was, here, let me write you a prescription. Not let's fix the problem. Let's medicate you. And that's the really sad thing about most doctors nowadays, is they just want to medicate your ass and just say, put her in a padded room. And it wasn't the fact that I was depressed. I was still in mourning. I didn't need a pill for that. Every day is going to get better. And it did. I mean, I can go right here. Whoops. Here's my mom. I'm not crying. There has been times that I've teared up, but for the most part I'm not crying anymore. Did I need pills? No. No, I don't. No, I didn't. That was the difference, because that was sadness. It was not depression. But that's just me, I guess. A few people have taken their lives right here on YouTube. A few people have passed away. And yes, I admit, I've known quite a few of them that have passed away. That doesn't make me a bad person. It makes me actually a really good person, because I reach out and get to know people. MrMarchant71 was a great guy. He will be severely missed. He was very interactive. He was old school, per se. He loved to do video responses. He was interesting, very knowledgeable, and he was an all-around good guy. I really don't have anything bad I could say bad about him. Suicide? I can talk about that till I'm blue in the face. If you think you need help, then you need help. And if somebody starts talking about suicide, maybe you need to nudge them a little bit to get help. I don't know. I guess it goes back to the same thing of if they talk about it, it's one thing, but when they get silent about it, that means they're ready to go take the plunge. And I'm not sure if I've said this because I've done this video a couple times, but people say suicide is a long-term answer to a short-term situation. You don't think about that, though. The mud's over your ears. Can't hear anybody screaming for you to say, I'm here to help you. Mud's over your eyes, so you can't see any help there. Mr. Marchant reached out to a couple people on YouTube, and to me he only said goodbye and to keep smiling. But to a few of the people out there, you know, I'm assuming well, I heard that he said that he was ready to take his life, or to really say goodbye. I'm not sure why he didn't give me the full message. I don't know. But I haven't stopped thinking about him, because when somebody gets to that point that they want to say goodbye and they really do commit suicide, it's strange, I guess. It's strange that there's a lot of people that, you know, see his comments and see his videos, but they never acknowledge anything. But then once he passes away, they all come forward and go, oh, we're going to miss him. And maybe he just needed to hear that we're going to miss you prior, or just a little bit of help. I actually at one point told him that he needs to get a job at the airline so he can fly for free, because I did know that he lost his job. I don't know if he ever put in for it. Anyways, I'm done babbling. I'm sorry for taking so much of your time. I don't have a clock on here, so I don't even know how long I've taken talking. That didn't even make sense. Anyways, if you need help, there's places to go, people to talk to, survive and fight. Because in the long run, there really are people out there that are willing to listen. I myself, I'm here to listen every single time. And it doesn't matter if I absolutely can't stand the person. If they need help, I'm there for them. And it's a proven fact. So if you need anybody, turn to somebody whether it's me or any one of the millions of YouTubers out there, or a shrink, or just your local doctor, your brother and sister. There's people willing to listen, and there's places that want you to come visit them. Anyways, I'm babbling now. Till tomorrow, guys. I will see you the day after tomorrow's yesterday. Good night.